Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Well, if you've seen the news throughout the day today with the Sunday shows, everything with the Democrat socialist is falling apart. There's a total rejection of the Democrat Socialist of America. And it's coming not just from us, MAGA people. It's a rejection that's coming from their own people, right? From Democrats themselves. It's falling apart for them. And we've got a lot of things here that I want to cover on the stream. Welcome. Those of you that are new, make sure you subscribe. All right, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. All right, first off, I want to get into something that really needs to be discussed. These Democrat socialists, the three high-profile ones right now are Abdul, Hasan Piker, and Bernie Sanders. AOC is not one of the... She's not a player anymore. She's like not even being talked about. That's why she pulled this stunt of freezing her eggs on a live stream so that everyone would talk about her. AOC is in a total flip-out mode that she's not the center of attention, that these other Democrat Socialists of America commies are getting attention. So she's pretending to freeze her eggs on a live stream. Who does that? Very strange. But these Democrat Socialists, the main three that are being discussed right now are Abdul, Hasan Piker, and Bernie Sanders. And do you know what all three of them have in common other than they're communists, they hate America, and those typical things? You know what else they have in common? What do all three of them have in common? Abdul, Hasan Piker, and Bernie Sanders. What do you think? Yeah, they hate America. They're communist. They have Trump derangement syndrome. But what else do all three of them have in common? They're all three millionaires. So, is there a conflict? Is there a conflict between being a Democrat socialist and being a millionaire? It seems to me there'd be a conflict. And that's why you hear these three guys always talking about billionaires are evil. Oh, the billionaires, we got to get the billionaires. But, because they're millionaires, millionaires are good people. It's the billionaires that are bad. So I wanted to go through some of this. Let's start with Abdul, since he's the new kid on campus, right? El-Sayed, this is from Fox News. El-Sayed is in the hot seat for another foreign rental property and nearly $300,000 in additional income. So he owns properties overseas. Now, this was before the primary, okay? The Monday before the primary, this article was written, but this has been talked about elsewhere, so we'll go through this. Abdul released a new financial disclosure revealing new details about he and his wife's assets worth up to $2.1 million. Now, I'm not opposed to people being rich. I think it's awesome that people are millionaires and billionaires. I have no issues with that. But they do, because they're Democrat Socialist of America talking about wealth inequality. Okay, so Abdul's new financial disclosure reveals new details about he and his wife's assets worth up to $2.1 million. Let's see here. Much of the information was already known through reporting he did last year. The 2026 filing adds 3 additions. Abdul and his wife listed a rental property in Dubai. How many of you own property in multiple countries? Heck, how many of you own multiple properties, right? And how many of you own properties in multiple states or multiple countries? Very unusual thing. Abdul and his wife listed a rental property in Dubai worth up to $250,000. Well, I wonder if they rent it out to Tucker Carlson when he's over there. A liability to a company in Dubai worth up to $100,000, and a tweak to El-Sayed's employment status in Michigan. Past reporting had already shown that Abdul's wife owned a rental property in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and another in India. Oh, my goodness. So they have multiple properties in Michigan. They have a property in Dubai and a property in India. Now, how can you be a democratic socialist, obsessed with wealth inequality, and have at least 2 properties in Michigan, and then have properties in 2 other countries? So he has properties in 3 countries, in different parts of the world: the United States, India, and the Middle East. The Dubai property is a 3rd real estate holding. Okay? There's a debt, which means a mortgage. Okay? El-Sayed, talks about his salary and everything. So anyway, the value of his net worth of all of his properties is $2.1 million. So he is a multimillionaire. That's right. Abdul is a multimillionaire. Now, again, as MAGA people, as conservatives, we don't have problems with millionaires, but the Democrat socialists do. Oh, my goodness. I mean, that's more than a mild hypocrisy, isn't it? And you know what I wonder about these millionaires, Bernie Sanders, Hasan Piker, and Abdul? They're all multimillionaires. Do you think they take the Trump tax cuts? I bet they do. I bet they do. All right, let's go to Bernie Sanders next. This is from Newsweek. And remember, Bernie's pushing for the billionaires tax. Newsweek, Senator Bernie Sanders, a Vermont independent. And this article is from February, okay? Senator Bernie Sanders, a Vermont independent, is set to launch a campaign to support a California billionaire tax, according to the LA Times. Sanders is a Democratic socialist whose presidential campaigns helped bring the Democratic Socialist of America into the spotlight over the past decade. Since then, several other socialists, including AOC, have been elected to Congress. But critics have raised questions about the senator's net worth, highlighting that he has been a critic of capitalism despite building his own wealth. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Bernie Sanders, he's got the billionaires tax. Okay, let's see here. Sanders himself is far from a billionaire. However, Newsweek reports he is worth an estimated $2.5 million, according to Forbes in 2019. So that was 7 years ago. At the time, he owned 3 homes, one in Burlington, Vermont, one in D.C., and a third in Lake Champlain. Oh, my goodness. And I promise you, he's worth more than he was 7 years ago. So here's another, these 2 high-profile guys, Abdul, a multimillionaire with 4 properties, and as 2019, and we know what's more now, Bernie Sanders, a multimillionaire owning 3 homes. There's something doesn't add up here. Something's off. Chris, $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Chris. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. That seems a little odd. Now, I saved the best for last. Hasan Piker. Listen to this. Hasan Piker is a big Twitch streamer. His net worth is estimated at $8 million. So Hasan Piker, who's talking about evil rich people and everything, he's worth more than Abdul and Bernie Sanders combined. Now, am I the only one who sees a conflict and a hypocrisy in this? Can you imagine? Being a democratic socialist and being a millionaire would be like being a Republican who's a strong pro-life advocate, and then they find out you take girlfriends and mistresses and people to abortion clinics to have abortions from babies you've impregnated them with out of wedlock. I mean, it's that big of a hypocrisy, isn't it? Absolutely. And, I get so burned watching. It shows it not just a hypocrisy, it shows that they're frauds, right? They're all frauds. That's it, right? I mean, it's a hypocrisy, no doubt, but they're fake. They just tell some idiotic masses what they want to hear to get their votes. It's amazing, isn't it? It really is absolutely amazing. And, I get so burned up listening to the media coverage. And the media coverage is talking about Abdul like he's some regular Democrat. Well, Abdul, when it comes to defunding the police, says this. there's many other things to cover with this guy, including their wealth hypocrisy. And Abdul's trying to go around and say, well, those aren't my properties. Those are my wife's properties. Come on. It's all marital property. When you're married, it's all one big thing, right? What's mine is my wife's. What's my wife's is mine. It's called marital property. Oh my goodness, I tell you. But I knew that Hasan Piker was a millionaire, but $8 million? Oh my goodness. Peddling hate on Twitch pays well. Isn't that crazy? So how can you be a Democrat socialist and a multi-millionaire? Oh, this is beautiful. These Democrat socialists don't have a single redeeming quality, do they? Everything about them is a hypocrisy, is wrong, is immoral. And of course, Hasan Piker, someone called me today and said, oh no, that thing that Hasan Piker said about, that's out of context. Let me pull it up. Now there is a bleep here. The bleep, I put the bleep in so I could play it on the radio. The bleep is where the F word was. Hasan Piker. America. Hold on, let me cue it up now. And what I want you to try to tell me is, how do you put this in any other context other than the way he said it?
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
Wow. How do you put this in any other context other than it's perverted, disgusting, offensive, treasonous?
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're new to the program, welcome. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. And if everyone could do me the favor of liking the video, that helps so much, guys. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please do me the favor of liking the video. But if you notice, there's really, it's so interesting to watch the news cycles. And I have not seen the mainstream fake news liberal media turn against Democrat candidates like they're doing now. They are really fighting back against the Democrat Socialist of America. And the Democrat Party establishment know they're in trouble. This is ABC's Jonathan Karl, who hates Trump like the plague. And remember, he was in some trouble because he was doing some damage to the reflecting pool, allegedly.
I was looking through the DSA.
He's talking to AOC. She took a break from freezing her eggs on Instagram to speak with Jonathan Karl.
I was looking through the DSA program, and this is the national program. I'm sure you've seen the document. It was adopted just a few months ago. But some of the positions here: defund the Department of Defense, close overseas military bases, abolish the police and prison system, grant amnesty to all immigrants in the U.S., replace the Supreme Court and executive judiciary with a chosen by lower to Congress, abolish the Senate, public ownership of corporations and essential industries. I mean, those are some positions that you're going to be hearing a lot about this fall from Republicans.
And I think we're also going to be hearing a lot about Donald Trump's commitment to getting us into a reckless war in Iran, his collaboration with big companies to make sure that everything from groceries to rent stay sky high. And I think that people are less interested in these academic debates, and they're more interested in how we're going to bring their bills down and make sure that they can afford to see a doctor.
Okay. All right, whatever, a bunch of non-answers, but let's go through this, okay? This is the agenda of the Democrat Socialist of America, okay? This is their political platform that they just passed about 2-3 weeks ago, all right? Replace the president and Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by and lower than Congress, and abolish the Senate. Is that not an overthrow of the government of the United States? If you're abolishing the United States Senate and you're overthrowing the presidency, because the executive is going to be lower than the House of Representatives, which will be all we have in Congress, just one house in Congress, right? And the Supreme Court is overseen by this Congress. Is that an overthrow of the government of the United States? Are the Democrats, Socialists of America advocating an insurrection and overthrowing the government of the United States? When you look at this, replace the president and Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by and lower than Congress, right? And then abolish the Senate. That's not only, that sounds like a violent overthrow of the government of the United States. No doubt about it. If you'd like to call in, you're welcome to. The number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good afternoon, Brian. This is Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick.
I just wanted to say one thing here. Does that takeover of the major corporations, does that include ABC, NBC, CBS? And
Sure. Well, whatever parent company owns them, yeah. Absolutely.
So in a word, it's hypocrisy. You know, when you hear the left. I wanted to address something else real quick, and then I'll get off. I hear these callers in the morning complaining about President Trump. You know, what has he done for the average person except for the stock market? You know, well, the thing is, you know, the economy is not like a light switch. You turn it on, it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time to rebuild the economy after all the damage that these leftists has done and these other presidents have done throughout the years. Mm-hmm. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And when the economy regenerates and we have billionaires and millionaires who produce something, unlike Bernie Sanders and the leftists who don't produce anything except for themselves, these other people that create jobs. And once the economy, if the stock market does well and the economy regenerates, there are more jobs created and people become more prosperous. Mm-hmm. You can become more prosperous in this country. Donald Trump is opening the door.
Correct.
These other presidents shut the door on us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
But most people don't understand that because they believe the propaganda, because they don't understand that Bernie Sanders and all these others, they want prosperity for themselves.
Well, you know what? You know, I really wonder. Yeah, hold on one more. I answer all these lines that are coming in. I was showing how Hasan Piker is worth $8 million, right?
Yes.
And Bernie Sanders and Abdul both are worth about $2.5 million. Okay, at least. You know, do you think they take the Trump tax cuts for their millions? I bet they do.
Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
How about How about Mommy's Dummy, as Savage calls it?
Yeah.
Momdami.
Yeah.
What is he? 380 million.
His wife
Right?
is a millionaire. His wife's family is richer than his family. Yeah.
Well, that's what, and these people are foreigners from other countries, and they want to take our money. You know, it's like George Soros. George Soros made his billions by taking our money through USAID. Mm-hmm. People don't realize that, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, the basic bottom line here before I go, the left are a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah, and frauds.
And people need to wake up and realize that.
Yep. And why is a billionaire evil, but a millionaire isn't? Is it because Bernie and Hasan and Abdul are millionaires? It seems to me that
it changes with their position.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nick. Good to hear from you.
Now Bernie's against billionaires because he's not a billionaire yet.
When he becomes a billionaire, they'll be the heroes.
Almost a billionaire.
He may be with his property value. He may be a billionaire. He's definitely bored. Hey, Nick, I'm going to run, but I appreciate the call. He made some good points.
Why doesn't he give up his beach houses?
Because he needs to live in a house where he can be about a mile away from Michelle and still be in the house. All right, take care, Nick. All right, it's true. It's a big old house, no doubt about it. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Corey.
Where are you calling from, Corey?
Hello?
Yeah, where are you calling from, Corey?
Canada.
Oh, hey, Canada. What's up?
Okay. Okay, I want to ask you a question. You said before,
Yes. Cat got your tongue? He's still on the line. We lost his connection. Well, you can. Okay, we got you now. You cut out.
on a delay. Okay.
Your phone muted. I couldn't hear what you said. Start over. You said you had a question.
Yeah, I think you go from America. I got one, but it's different. Okay.
What's your question?
Okay, Trump. Okay. Okay. Okay, I know you said about about the gas you said before.
You're not very coherent. What is your question?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Am I the...
Yeah, you're on, but I'm going to hang up on you. You haven't said anything. What is your what's on your mind? You said you had a question. Spit it out.
Yeah, I do. Okay, you said about a couple of shows ago, about a week ago, about the gas.
Okay. What about it?
No, my question is about the oil. You said you don't.
Listen, I'm going to move on because either you have a problem speaking or your phone's not working. All right? Take care. Enough. I think I was patient enough. Sorry, Canada. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Mike here in Palm Beach. Thanks for having me on.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Palm Beach.
Wow. We're just seeing the Democrats are just so sneaky, and the sneakiness just never ends. I mean, this twisting of words, twisting of situations.
This is the setup.
Just like what we heard. And I knew they were going to be doing this. It's as soon as you bring up anything about the insanity that they're pushing, it's, well, Donald Trump is just crazy. I mean, it is literally right what they go to. And the second thing, what I'm seeing is, it's the old, it's never going to happen. So like years ago when people talked about marijuana in California, it was, it's just medical. It'll never be legal. Or, talked about, I remember hearing about men and women's bathrooms. And the liberals would always say, well, that's not what I believe in. Mm-hmm. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
All these things that they twist and say are so minimized. And you can hear like these immigrant politicians that are speaking, like you can hear that they're just not into the United States. Mm-hmm. And they're so easily pushed over.
Well, they're running for office to try to destroy the United States and Israel too.
Yes, and they're minimizing and literally they're going to push all this stuff through, and it's going to happen, and then we're all going to be standing there in any amount of time and think to ourselves, how did all this just happen? Like everyone said, oh, the illegals will never get health care from the government. I mean, they'll never get welfare. All these things came to fruition for them, and we're all standing around like didn't want to go to the polls, didn't want to back Trump 110%, didn't want to fly the American flag with pride.
He was reelected to a second and non-consecutive term, so I think the country stood up for him.
Yes. But I'm just saying, the liberals that know darn right well what's going on when they do their little snickerty-snide laugh about the little things that they're getting away with, the election fraud, the open borders. They have their little schneid smiles that they all pass along and act like they don't know what's going on.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. No doubt.
So I just see like this movement that's going on with these communists. I mean, they're really sliding in with but can we please stop saying Democratic? They're Democrats. There's no such thing as the Republic Party. I can't stand.
Well, I know it's a pet peeve that a lot of people have, but you got to use
their wordage.
You got to use the words so people know what you're talking about. It's like they're not socialist either, but actually, it is the Democrat Party, not the Democratic Party. That is true.
Yes.
But the socialists.
Is it a transvestite or is it a transsexual? What word do they want us to use?
But the socialists actually do say Democratic Socialist of America. It's the Democrat Party, but the Democratic Socialist of America is their official name.
I hear Fox News anchors saying it, Brian. It sickens me because they're lessening what it is. It's not. It's an oxymoron to say Democratic Socialist. It's basically Democrat communism, and we all know that.
Yes.
And they're just looking the other way. Man, I love everything you do, Brian.
Well, thank you very much.
I could ask you a million questions, but I don't want to be that guy. I just wanted to call in with my point of view.
You made some good points.
Yeah, thanks, man. I agree with you. Rock on, brother.
All right, take care. All right, now one of the Democrat socialists who's getting a lot of airtime, but even AOC won't endorse them, is Hong. And Hong, I've been asking this question since she's been on the scene, and it's, a lot of people think I'm joking, and I'm not. She says she's from Korea, but has she ever been asked if it's North or South Korea she's from? I'm really, and I'm serious as a heart attack. And what I'd like to know is she really from Korea, or is she Chinese from the CCP, or from North Korea, right? How could someone from South Korea immigrate to America and be a communist? It's beyond my realm of understanding. It really is. So she's either North Korean or Chinese, and I haven't seen anybody really do any research into that. And also, there could be some research just by the accent that she speaks with, and her family speaks with when she speaks in whatever her native tongue is. There's all kinds of ways. But no one's asking that question. Is she from North or South Korea? I'm not kidding. But here's a clip of her on the Exposed podcast being interviewed.
We have a lot of internal reckoning to do, but that it's important to see it through the lens of toxic white supremacy culture that is ingrained in this country's history.
I'm sorry that the country was settled by white people and the majority are white. What would be the absurdity if I went to whichever Korea she's from, okay, and I said, they've got this toxic Asiatic thing going on over here. It's toxic. There's so many Asians here. I don't understand. Brian, you're in Korea. Yeah, but there's this toxic Asiatic thing going on here. It's stupid, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
We have a lot of internal reckoning to do, but that it's important to see it through the lens of toxic white supremacy culture that is ingrained in this country's history.
Now think about also another thing that's stupid about this. She's an immigrant from South Korea, North Korea, East Korea, West Korea, China, I don't know. Koreatown, I don't know, the lunatic asylum. If this country is a country that's all about white supremacy, why did her family immigrate to it from their 100% Asian populated country, right? If you were, as an example, as white people, would you immigrate to South Africa when you see what they're doing to white people down there? I don't think so. That makes no sense whatsoever.
We have a lot of internal reckoning to do, but that it's important to see it through the lens of toxic white supremacy culture that is ingrained in this country's history, that racism is actually at the backbone of this history. And when people talk about Constitution, federalism, the rights of the people, we really have to take a step back and look at, how those rights have really only been offered up to a certain group. And what that
that's crazy town, the way she's, and of course, I don't know too much about the Exposed podcast, but they're not very bright over there. They're just nodding along in agreement. Yeah, just nodding along. That's, yeah, that's it. And one of the things that's really crazy is that the Democrats, they have two sane voices, the Democrats, right? And these are not people that you would normally think of as being sane. One smokes weed all day, and the other one has brain damage. And, of course, the one that smokes weed all day is Bill Maher, and the one that has had brain damage is Senator Fetterman. So you got a stoner and a brain damaged man are the two most reasonable voices in the whole Democrat Party. Here's Senator Fetterman talking about these Democratic socialists.
Bernie Sanders will never represent any more than 640,000 people in Vermont. That's all he's ever done, and he ever will do. He's never won an actual competitive election. And now why can't
That's a good point, because Vermont is a state with a small population. So he's got a little tiny, and not everybody votes for him, right? And so he really is just representing a couple 100,000 people, and he's like portrayed as if he's the voice of America. Good point made there by Senator Fetterman.
Stop giving me lectures on how to win. Bernie's not flipping seats. He is helping install volatile and dangerous kinds of candidates, and now put Democratic seats at risk. I've flipped seats. Now he's never done that thing. I'm tired of his lectures, overall. And now he claims that he's not a member of the Democratic Party. Why can't the DSA people just, they should just run and there's their own party?
Most people don't agree.
Okay, yeah, it makes some good points there. Now, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll take a quick break and be right back. I'm in the Jupiter Joe radio studio sitting down with Joe Thomas. Joe, a lot of seniors, they're getting their Social Security. They're retired, but not really. They're working a part-time job, maybe even a little bit more than a part-time job. But there are some instances where people think they have to work an extra side job, but they don't have to, right?
Yes, a lot of people don't understand that you need to put all your money to work for you. That means the savings account, the checking account, the emergency fund. Take that money, turn it into an income stream, and that's what we do for clients. We'll take a lump sum of money, say $100,000, and you'll get another $700 or $800 a month, where maybe you don't have to work that part-time job anymore.
Call Joe Thomas and schedule your no-charge consultation. And when you do, you get a free copy of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. The number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com.
Hi, Tom Laporta here. We are Laporta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At Laporta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At Laporta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. All right, so Hasan Piker, who we find out is worth $8 million, good socialist there, worth $8 million.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
Okay, so those are the famous words that Hasan Piker, the $8 million man, is known for. And this is AOC. AOC, how pathetically jealous is she of Abdul getting all this attention that she has to pretend to freeze her eggs on an Instagram live stream? That you want to talk about a narcissist, AOC. That was one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. But here she is on ABC talking about she's asked about Hasan Piker and his America Deserved 9/11 comments.
Another person who's been made an issue is Hasan Piker, who obviously endorsed Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan. You've been on his live stream, at least a few times. He's somebody who said, that America deserved 9/11. Now he backed off from that.
Yes, he's apologized.
But he said a lot of...
There's some things you can't apologize for. And no, he has not really apologized for that. I'm sorry. He got busted. He's sorry he got caught.
He said a lot of controversial...
Outside of his, his viewership people, his audience.
Is he somebody that should have a role in the progressive movement going forward?
I think when we look at our elections that have happened, we have lost young people. Much hay was made about the fact that we lost young men in the last election. And many of the same consultants that are wringing their hands today were the same ones talking about how we need to go on Joe Rogan and we need to be not so, willing to engage in cancel culture. And I think that the flip-flopping on this is a tactical debate that they may be having. I think the fact of the matter is that Democrats can go on Joe Rogan, Democrats can go on Fox News, Democrats have a responsibility to build a winning coalition, and young people are engaging in mediums and conversations that we have a responsibility to attend to and be responsive to. And even right now, when we look at this insurgent wave of what is happening, oftentimes when people are doing that Monday morning quarterbacking and what demographics voted where, the big one that's being ignored is the generational tidal wave. Tsunami.
You see it in the polling. It is significant.
Millennials are not, punk kids anymore.
Yeah.
We're grown adults with mortgages and kids.
She has kids? I don't know. Got a mortgage? I didn't know that. Saw her freezing her eggs today. I got a question about this freezing of the AOC eggs. She's been with the same guy for years. Why don't they just have sex and do it the old-fashioned way that's like free? Why would she be freezing her eggs and going to the trouble and expense of that when she can just have sex with that strange guy that she's been with all these years? That's a good question. I wish Jonathan Karl would have asked her that. Yes, you're on the air.
Yes, this is Corey.
Corey from Canada. I'll give you one last chance because your last call didn't go too well.
Yeah, I know, because on my phone, I don't know. Okay. Someone talk about the prices of gas all the time. Liberals complaining on your show. Gas in Canada is almost $9 a gallon here.
Canadians. How much is that in U.S. dollars?
Well, I don't know. Our dollars.
Like $6, maybe $6 a gallon or something, maybe?
Yeah, about that. Because our dollar is all-time low since 2003. Mm-hmm. Our dollar's dropped too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot.
2003.
Wow.
Yeah, because we have the metric system. Jimmy Carter didn't. There was one thing Jimmy Carter. He was a horrible president, but one thing he was smart. He didn't copy Canada's metric system. They thought the state's going to copy our metric system. Instead of miles, your cars in miles be in kilometers. It's very confusing. It's called.
Yes.
So it's not very good.
Yes.
And also, too, I complain all these Democrats want universal health care. Like Canada, health care is terrible.
Is it?
It's awful.
I hear it's so good all the time.
But I know, but that's coming from liberals. I told you, support that people support Trump. They call Maple MAGA, like me.
Maple MAGA. I've never heard that before. I like that. Maple MAGA. I've never heard that before.
But that's the people that support Trump.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people, Canadian citizens, want to be American citizens. This is fact. I hope President Trump or anybody listening from it. But all those fires from Canada, there's a lot of churches burning down here in Canada. It's very bad here.
Yeah.
Very bad situation.
Yeah.
Catholic churches burning down. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I know people complaining, was it Pennsylvania and Michigan, they got in New York, because Ontario's right beside New York,
yes.
Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a communist mayor too, Olivia Chow.
Yeah.
NDP party.
Well, I'm glad you're a good call. You should call me again sometime. Your phone is, now that it's connected and I can hear you.
Yeah, because I was getting feedback and I was watching you on YouTube and I put my.
Oh yeah. You got to turn the volume down when you're on whatever device you're watching me on. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what I do now. So also too. People that what is HOA fees and CDD fees?
Well, there's different. Depends on where you live.
Okay. So I'm looking at houses in Florida. So they have HOP. Some houses have HOE, some houses don't.
80% of people in Florida live with an HOA fee. Live inside an HOA. 80%. But some of them, like I don't want to say what mine is because I don't want to give away where I live. But where I live, it's very. I have an HOA, but it's very inexpensive. It's one of the reasons I bought this house. Some HOAs can be $700 a month. It can be over $1,000 a month. Depends on where you live.
Wow.
So you got to factor that in when you buy a place in Florida.
Yeah, I'm looking at several places. Yeah, so.
What part of Florida? What part of Florida are you thinking of moving to?
South. South.
Well, that's good. That's the best part of Florida. South Florida is the best part.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, best part of Florida.
They said don't avoid North Florida. Someone told me.
North Florida, in North Florida, you got a few things. It's not. Yeah. You don't get the tropic climate. It's kind of like Georgia. Oh, okay. If you want to live in the tropics, you have to live south of Fort Pierce, Florida. Fort Pierce, Florida, in St. Lucie County, is the end of the tropics. So look it up
Port St. Lucie. I'm looking houses there too. It's nice there too.
Port St. Lucie, very nice. I almost moved there myself a couple years ago. My wife and I. That is, but you don't want to live in Port St. Lucie. It's very MAGA, but you don't have access to the ocean in Port St. Lucie. There's no beach access. So you only want to live in. You want to look in Stewart, Florida. Look in Stewart, Florida, Martin County, Florida.
Okay.
It's the most MAGA county in Florida. Listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. All right.
Okay. What's it called? Stewart, Florida. I'll look at
Stewart, Florida. It's a city in a county called Martin County. You'll hear me refer to MAGA Martin County. When I get calls from Martin County, I'll say MAGA Martin. It's the most MAGA community in the state of Florida, and Florida is MAGA, so that's like super MAGA. Martin County, Florida.
You said some areas like really liberal, like you said Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale is very liberal. Yeah. Hey, listen, Canada, welcome to Florida. All right, you take care. Thanks so much. All right, got a few things here. So Hasan Piker, the voice of the Democrat socialist, wealth is evil. He's worth $8 million, right? And Rolling Stone did a cover story. He's on the cover of Rolling Stone, and they show him in his backyard. Does this look like the backyard of a socialist? Look at this. And there's a couple of things about this. This is a very expensive backyard. Is that the dog that he shocked with electricity on his live stream with the shock collar? But look what he has his house surrounded with. Look at what surrounds Hasan Piker's house. A big, beautiful wall. Well, wait a minute. Aren't walls racist? Who is this Democrat socialist worth $8 million doing with a racist wall, a big, beautiful wall around his house? There's just something a little off about that. Yeah, that's right. And look at that grass. He even has expensive grass back there. That looks like the green at one of the Trump golf courses, doesn't it? Oh, my goodness. Someone needs to ask Hasan Piker why he has a big, beautiful, racist wall surrounding his house. Who's he keeping out? The have-nots? Oh, my goodness, guys. Welcome to the program, by the way. If you're new, my name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, welcome, and make sure that you subscribe. And if everyone could please like the video, I'd appreciate that. Okay, we've got another threat against the president, which is becoming basically a weekly event. Air Force F-16s have intercepted an aircraft over Trump's Bedminster, New Jersey resort where the president is staying this weekend. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. NORAD fighter jets intercepted two aircraft. NORAD fighter jets intercepted two aircraft after they entered restricted airspace near President Trump's Bedminster Golf Club in New Jersey, where the president is staying this weekend. There have been so many violations of airspace here in Florida and at Bedminster. I mean, it's endless. And of course, there's a very hot war going on right now with Iran. And when I see these things, what I see are really tests, right? I see tests of what's of the security around the President of the United States. Now, this is interesting here, because this James Carville's going around doing all these interviews, exposing the Democrat Socialist of America. And here he is being interviewed by Donnie Deutsch, who I don't know if he still is, but he was dating the president's second wife, Marla Maples. And Donnie Deutsch hates Trump like the plague. But here he is with Carville.
They don't want us under the tent. That's the thing. Everybody says, "Oh, the tent's big enough." They don't want us under the tent. The DSA people, they're not interested in hands across the ocean. No.
They don't want me, and I don't want them. So we got massive agreement here. Okay, you don't want to be in the same political party as me. I don't want to be in the same political party as you. Let's go to 2028 and find out what this party is. And if it's your party, great. As Miss Harper said, I'm gonna be dead anyway. So who cares?
Who cares? You know, he's given up on his legacy. But I never thought I'd see the day that James Carville and Donnie Deutsch would agree with President Trump. But they agree with President Trump when it comes to the Democrat Socialist of America. Things are not going well. So then Caitlin Collins had the socialist Muslim millionaire Abdul on today. And remember, Abdul has 2 houses in Michigan, a home in, what was it? Was it Dubai? And then another home, a 4th home in India. There you go. He's got homes on multiple continents. He's got a lot of housing. Here's a multimillionaire Abdul who has homes on 3 continents. Middle East is classified by most as part of Africa. So he's got 2 homes in North America, a home in Africa, and a home in Asia, because India's in Asia. My goodness. How many continents do you have homes in? Those of you that are listening to me right now. I have 1 home in Florida. Why does he have 4 homes? 2 in Michigan. And why have homes on multiple continents? I don't understand that. And being a socialist. Anyway, here's Abdul with Caitlin Collins on CNN. Oh, hold on, let me cue it up here. Hold on a second here. Caitlin Collins. She doesn't want to smile ever again because President Trump pointed out that she doesn't smile. So she works extra hard not to.
Well, and you talked about when you've run for office before, death threats that you got, Islamophobia.
Please. Every time this guy talks, all he talks about is how he's the victim, right? No one's threatening him.
If you do win, you will become the first Muslim senator in U.S. history.
Oh, my goodness.
What would that mean for you?
I guess, wait a minute. Wasn't Obama the first Muslim senator in U.S. history? Are they canceling out and wiping Obama from history?
Well, and you talked about when you've run for office before, death threats that you got, Islamophobia. If you do win, you will become the first Muslim senator in U.S. history. What would that mean for you?
It's not as much about what it means for me. I'm not running to be the first Muslim anything. I just want to be a really, really great senator for my state.
Yes.
But it does mean something, I think, about...
What state is that? The state of Palestine? What state is that?
The country. There are people like J.D. Vance or Donald Trump or Mike Rogers who want to define America as being too small to include some kinds of people. And they point to my name, they point to my faith, they try to insinuate that somehow I'm less American because of those things. But
his father-in-law has Muslim Brotherhood connections. Muslim Brotherhood's an international Islamic terror organization.
Put myself forward, asking my state to give me their stake in democracy, to allow me to serve them as an agent of the government. And there is no greater, I think, call than to ask your fellow Americans to give you their stake in democracy. And when they do, I think it says a lot about what America is. They want America to be small. I believe that America is big. It's open-minded, it's big-hearted. It can include any of us, regardless of how we pray, regardless of where our families come from, regardless of who we love or how we identify. That's the America we're building.
Who we love or how we identify? Oh my goodness. Regardless of how we love or how we identify. That's the new one. They're always adding things, aren't they? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
Well, it's unbelievable. Like, every one of these people that promotes the socialism, this communist agenda, are all wealthy beyond means that
Aren't they?
most people could ever imagine.
I mean, what's that about?
And, well, look at what he did when he went to Mackinac, the most American part of Michigan. He got caught in a hot mic saying he hates this place.
Exactly. I hate it here because there's white people there.
He hates it. Yeah, he hates the culture there. He hates what they celebrate. They tell you right up front what they want, and you have to listen to them.
Yep.
Because all of them are doing this. What you see in Wisconsin, what you see in Michigan, it's pretty disgusting and it's pretty phony. I mean, I just the idea that 5 people are actually buying this up is up beyond anything I could imagine. Because this is just a big scam. Bernie Sanders kind of lit the fire on this one. He's a phony anyway.
Yes.
So we know that. I mean, look, another example of wealth, but preaching that we can't have what they have, but they can have everything, but they're preaching this agenda that's quite the opposite of what they want everyone else to have. That to me, that's a fundamental principle. Yeah, it is, but still thinking about that.
Well, I'm just trying to figure. Here's Hasan Piker worth $8 million. I showed his house. He's got this multi-million-dollar house surrounded by a big, beautiful wall that he says are racist. I mean, I don't. And then we have Bernie Sanders, who's worth $2.5 million with multiple homes. We have Abdul, who has 2 homes in Michigan, and then he has a home in Dubai and another one in India. So he has 4 homes on 3 continents, and he's a multimillionaire too. Why are all these socialist, communist multimillionaires with these luxurious homes all over the world? What's that? What's up with that?
Yeah, I want to see the wealth of some of these other socialists running too, what they're worth too. We get the front line people, the front loaded people, of course, the big.
Well, I don't know. Well, I'm sticking with these because these are the ones everyone's talking about, right? Abdul and Hasan Piker and Bernie Sanders are the 3 stars of the show, right? The other ones really aren't. That's why I was saying AOC is so jealous that they're getting all the attention. She's freezing her eggs so people will talk about her. She's so desperate.
Hear anything about her at all?
No, because she's.
We're not hearing anything.
She's boring compared to these guys. I guess she's out.
That's you're right. I mean, we haven't heard anything about them, about her, or any of these others too. And Hasan Piker. I just remember when he was just a guy we just saw on the internet, Cenk Uyghur's nephew, who was saying lousy things, zapping his dog every second, and saying all these crazy things. Now all of a sudden he's on every news station. We see him everywhere. He's a kingmaker for them. That's what they look at him as.
Yes.
And now he's going around spewing the worst things. He just said one of the worst things I've ever heard him say recently. And if they tell you these things, believe them, because this is it. I mean, they are really going forward here. James Carville, you got these Democrats you never thought would see all this happen.
Do you know how much it costs? This thing with AOC freezing her eggs, how much does it cost to get pregnant by freezing your eggs?
No, I can't. I mean, it can only be a number that I can't even imagine. I mean, for knowing her wealth, I'm sure it's I mean, what's the number?
I don't know. It's got to cost $50,000. I don't understand why her and her boyfriend just don't have sex. That's free, and get pregnant that way.
Right.
Why go this weird, expensive route?
With her, you see, this is the strangeness of the Democrat Party. Well, this wing of it too. Why do these people do these things? I mean, you're right. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, maybe it's something to do with him. Maybe he's white and she doesn't like that, but she's with him for other reasons. Maybe it's that. Can't put it past her. You can't put it past any of these people for what they do. All the reasons for it, because it could be multiple reasons or one. Any of them crazy.
There's no good reason for it. Why would you spend that kind of money to do what you can do for free?
Because she can. She's crazy and she's evil. I mean, we all check.
She's not just freezing the eggs, but then they got to go through that test tube baby artificial insemination business. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, when you could just go in the bedroom and do it for free.
Right. Well, not only is it a lot of money, but like you said, the process takes a long. There's a lot of involvement with that.
And a lot. You're not guaranteed to get pregnant either. It doesn't always take.
Well, or just adopt adoption is a great thing. It's one of the greatest things you can do.
That's true.
You know that.
That's true.
And it's just what are they doing? Because she's evil, she's narcissistic. It's in her mind that she says, "Oh, I can do it, so I'm going to do it because I can do it. I have the money for it." I mean, there's a lot of multiple reasons why, and none of them are good.
So, and does her boyfriend have to go and donate sperm?
It's really strange. It is. I don't even understand the beginnings of what goes on. There's no beginning and end to these people because there's no limit. There's no bottom to these people. They're that evil.
I mean, that would be my question to her. Why are you going to the trouble and expense when you and your man can just do it for free?
I mean, it's the radicalization of her mind. I mean, she probably convinced herself. Maybe she learned it when she was bartending. Who knows where she picked this stuff up? She picks up these crazy things. She's around all these crazy people. She probably got some ideas. I mean, and plus being in the circles of Washington, that a lot of them are corrupt.
Yeah,
she could have gotten something from that.
That's true.
She came up with it. This is what they do. They feed off of each other. They gain each other, and I think I do think you're right, though. I think there's a bit of envy going on right now with her.
Oh yeah.
Because of what she's not having.
I mean, I'd like to know how she came up with this. How did she's sitting around. Nobody's talking about me. Everyone's talking about Abdul and Hasan Piker. What can I do? Oh, I know. Yep. I'll freeze my eggs on on Instagram Live.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. She has to pull some crazy stunt to stay relevant in the sphere. That's what that is. She's only doing that right. Why all of a sudden is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard anything from her in a few months, really.
Yes.
It's been a few months, and that's a long time in the span of what we're doing here, or what we're dealing with. If you're not around, if you're not heard from in a few months, that's like an eternity, and we haven't. And she's now saying, "Oh, look at what I just did. Look at me. Attention. Look what I'm doing. I'm so radical. Look what I'm doing. Because they're all doing this. Because
that's
every
true.
socialist, rich socialist, is doing it.
Yeah,
and
something's
that's
happening.
Going on.
Something's going. Well, listen, I got to move on, but all right, Sean, you take care. All right, thanks for the call. Yeah, I mean, there's several reasons why that somebody would do such a thing in her position, but something's okay. So here's another Democrat. This is Paul Begalit, big Democrat, worked for President Clinton.
Abdul won a narrow victory, and more problematic for him, he has a narrow coalition. The socialists all say, I'm a moderate. I don't like the socialists. I can't stand them. I just want to disclose.
Your candor. That's great.
But they always say, the socialists, that they care about the working class and about black folk. I can tell you, black folk in the working class don't like the socialists. Abdul's got a lot of work to do. I talked this week, actually, to one very impressive Democratic black leader in Michigan. They hadn't even been contacted by Abdul yet. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, because that's not his demo. Blacks have gone MAGA, and the Democrats are done. So they're going after different groups, right? The illegals, the Muslims and such. Okay, here's another. This is Jonathan Karl with AOC again, and they're talking about Hong, who says she's from Korea.
The abolished prisons, abolished police, which is also positions that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get around that?
Yeah.
I mean, those are not positions that are supported by
right.
most of
I mean, I think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized.
Yeah.
But these races ultimately are local, and all politics are local. My understanding is that that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot
right,
of that.
she's moved away from it. And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, she has a habit of speaking a lot and saying a lot of words, but not really saying much of anything, right? I mean, she doesn't really say too much. Now here, this is one cracks me up. Okay, this is CNN and talking to South Carolina Senator Scott about Abdul, and he's upset with Senator Scott over the way he says Abdul's name. Listen.
For certain is that Abdul El-Sayed
as making El-Sayed is making it easier. Why? Because he is inconsistent with Michiganders of either side of the aisle, by the way. Someone who wants to defund police, defund ICE, who wants to abolish our concept of a border. He's just wrong for Michigan.
And I saw your early attack ads against him. You're using his full name in these attack ads, which has gotten some attention.
Why is it when it's Barack Hussein Obama or Abdul El-Sayed, you know, if you say their full name, it's wrong and racist. But you could say Donald Trump and Donald John Trump, and nobody says that's inappropriate or racist.
He's just wrong for Michigan.
And I saw your early attack ads against him. You're using his full name in these attack ads, which has gotten some attention. Abdul Rahman Mohammed El-Sayed. He goes by Abdul El-Sayed. Are you trying to say, hint, hint to voters, he's Muslim?
Not at all.
It's his name.
What we're only saying to voters is a simple thing. He says he's the most dangerous candidate you can find.
Wow.
He's right. We should trust his words, not ours.
But why not just use his name, Abdul El-Sayed, which he goes by?
Well, listen, I go by Timothy Eugene, and so I get called that all the time. Here's what I know without question. It's about what he stands for. And we're going to focus and bring attention to the fact that not only is he sympathetic for Hamas, not only does he run around with Hasan Piker, someone who said that Americans deserve 9/11, he should be held account for exactly where he stands and what he's for.
Exactly. And this whole thing that if you say their full name, that you're racist, you're Islamophobe, that makes no sense to me, right? I mean, that's just what people do. I mean, you say you're talking about someone, you say their name. It's only racist if you say a Muslim person's name. Well, that's their name. Well, here's Bernie, another multimillionaire, Bernie Sanders, and he's on with Margaret Brennan at ABC This Week today.
Democratic socialist Francesca Hong in Wisconsin is expected to win her Democratic primary. There's been some attention to some of her social media posts recently, but she has this platform of free childcare, state-run grocery stores, more health care subsidies. She wants to raise income taxes on millionaires. Some of this does seem...
what does Hasan Piker think about that?
...to align with your platform. So I'm wondering, why don't you support her? Is some of...
I guess Bernie's not supporting her because she wants to raise taxes on millionaires, and he's a millionaire.
What she supports too extreme for you?
No, raising taxes on the rich, making sure that everybody in Wisconsin or America has health care as a right, sounds quite reasonable to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then why won't he endorse her, huh? Why won't he endorse her? Because they know she's going to lose, right? And they're being very particular. They want to endorse people that they think are sure to win, but Abdul's going to lose. And I think Abdul's going to lose big, and hopefully we'll find out early on election night because there's been such a turn against him. Here's Donna Brazile, big Democrat. Remember, she was Al Gore's campaign manager in his failed 2000 run for president.
But as you know, I've been in this big tent party probably longer than most people, and I can tell you we're having the same kind of growing pains I saw on the Republican side, whether it was through the Tea Party in 2010, the activists who helped to bring about the MAGA movement.
And with all due respect to my friend Donna, there's nothing like, you can't draw any equivalence between the Tea Party movement and the socialists. For one, the Tea Party folks weren't trying to bring about the downfall of Western civilization and the United States of America. Abolish the police, abolish ICE, abolish borders, abolish the Senate, abolish the Constitution.
Exactly.
There was nothing like this in the Republican Party.
Exactly. They've got this talking point, which is so stupid. Well, we're a big tent. We're a big tent, and which is a Republican term, right? Remember Ronald Reagan said that when it came to Republicans, if you agree with us 80% of the time, you're in the big tent of the Republican Party, right? And that's certainly... That's certainly true. There's a couple of things I want to mention here. Let me cue a couple things up here. Now here's Abdul being questioned about Hasan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. They specifically asked him about it. Listen.
You face scrutiny for campaigning with socialist streamer,
of course, Meet the Press,
Hasan Piker, who has made a series of inflammatory comments, as you well know, including saying America deserved 9/11, describing Hamas as a lesser evil than Israel. Do you plan to continue to campaign with Hasan Piker in the general election campaign?
Look, I'm less concerned now with who I'm campaigning with, a lot more concerned about who I'm campaigning to. We got a lot of work to do to continue to build the coalition that's going to beat Mike Rogers.
Would you welcome him, though? On the campaign trail with
Like
you?
I said, I'm a lot more focused on who I'm campaigning to. So I think we have this notion sometimes on shows like this that we cannot or should not talk to certain groups of people. And I'll tell you that the 3 million people who listen to Hasan are people I want to make sure understand that there's a pathway into our politics around getting money out of politics so we can keep money back in pockets and pass Medicare for all. And so I'm going to continue to have the conversations with those folks who we desperately need to reach out to, just like I'm going to continue to have conversations with seniors in senior homes, folks up north, folks in Detroit, folks in Grand Rapids. So again, I'm a lot more focused on who I'm campaigning to rather than who I might campaign with.
Oh, that's a good talking. You know, all Democrats have, all liberals have, are vacuous, meaningless slogans. He said it at least twice. I think he said it 3 times. I'm more concerned about who I'm campaigning to, not who I'm campaigning with. What does that even mean? Now, there's a couple things here that hold on one second. I'm looking for a couple of other things here. Okay. Now, someone called me this morning about something on the stream this morning. If you were watching, you may have seen it, about the jobs numbers. So I pulled up from a couple of things here about the jobs under Donald Trump in his second term. And this is from the Labor Department. Okay, look at this. Now, this is in June, okay? Under the president's leadership, which would be his second term, American workers are seeing benefits in real time, rising wages, increased affordability, and over 903,000, see it right there? Over 903,000 private sector jobs added. It's right there. And this is from the Department of Labor, right? Over 903,000 private sector jobs added. See that? Right there. It's on the screen. Isn't that something? That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's correct. And then this came out. This is in Breitbart from the latest jobs report. Listen to this. This is an article from this week. The foreign-born population overall fell by 401,000 to 48.1 million over the past year. The number of foreigners in the labor force declined by 550,000. Employment by foreign-born people fell by 278,000. Isn't that something? So, you know, there were some statistics that came out last month that said that we were negative job growth. That's not true. You know, when it comes to statistics, depending on how you look at it, you can make them say a lot of different things, right? So what they're doing is they're counting these jobs wrong, right? These illegals and non-citizens that are no longer in the workforce, they're counting those as jobs lost. And when really those are job openings, those are jobs created, right? Every deportation is a new job created. But because these illegals and foreigners that may not have their documents right, that haven't been busted, have stopped going to work or have self-deported, those are being counted as lost jobs. And that's why in the recent jobs report, it said negative 23,000. It's not negative 23,000. It's only negative 23,000 if you include all the foreign-born people that have been taken out of the workforce. Okay, and so many have. It shows how much work that ICE has been doing, right? They've had record deportations the last few months. So don't believe those numbers. The economy is booming, but they're counting things in a way to give you a very, very false impression of what the situation really is. But that's what the left do, right? The left are all about manipulation and lying and talking points, and they want to say 23,000 jobs were lost in June. That's not true. It was positive jobs created if you count the deportations and the people that have left the workforce because they're afraid if they go to work they're going to get deported. Does that make sense? Of course it does. I mean, it's so obvious, you know. But they won't let that sink in because to them, no matter what President Trump does, they want it labeled as a failure, right? So they're gonna chalk that down to a failure because they just hate him so much. I mean, that's just the way it is. But no, I think Hasan Piker's got a lot of explaining to do. Not just the $8 million, but why does he have this big, beautiful, racist wall around his house? Yeah, and you know, he's so arrogant. He's so arrogant, it doesn't even occur to him because what he's doing in Rolling Stone is showing off. He wants to show everybody in Rolling Stone how rich he is and everything that he has. And he doesn't even have the sense to not show the wall around his house. But, you know, it's kind of a constant among the Democrats, right? The Democrats, a lot of them live behind walls, right? And this was pointed out. Laura Loomer did that. Okay, I lost the feed for a second, guys. Are we back? Hold on. Let me make sure we're back. Let me do a test. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. If I hear myself say it, then I'll know. Hold on. Okay, I lost the. Okay, good. We're back. Yeah, you know, I don't know what happened, but I just got like a little blink on my screen, and I thought I lost the feed. But we're still here. Yeah, but it doesn't even occur to Hasan Piker. Well, wait a minute. You can't take a picture of me out there. I'll look like a hypocrite. However, Abdul, he's a little smarter than Hasan. Remember, I shared this today. This is an outtake that was discovered by Laura Loomer. This is Abdul at his home. This is his living room. He's with his wife, who's wearing all the traditional Muslim clothing. And this is him talking to the cameraman about what not to show on camera.
And the other one.
You're going to want to not get these things in the shot.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we do. Try to keep the shot secular.
Okay, so what he doesn't want shown in the shot are the Quran. Let me rewind here a little bit. The Quran, this book, The Informant, the study of the Quran, more Qurans, all this Islamic stuff he doesn't want to show on camera, right? Why does he want to look secular? Why does he want to look secular? It's hard to look secular when your wife's wearing whatever that is. That a hijab that she's wearing? But he doesn't realize that. But even he's a little smarter than Hasan Piker, and that he's like, well, I'm trying to act like I'm mainstream, and we can't, being Muslim, people here in Michigan aren't going to like that, so he's trying to hide it. And this tape coming out is devastating. And if you look at Abdul, it's kind of like Graham Plattner that they ran out of the race in Maine. There has not been a day since Abdul's been on the scene that there's been a positive story about him, has there? Every story has been negative about him. Every day something new comes out. Like today I shared that he has 4 homes on 3 continents, right? 2 in Michigan, 1 in India, which is Asia, and another in, was it Dubai? In the Middle East, which is part of Africa. So, but he's a Democrat socialist. Him trying to hide the things on his bookshelf because he doesn't want people to see what's on his bookshelf. There has not been a day where there has not been at least one, if not multiple, negative stories about Abdul. And he's going to go down in defeat in Michigan. He really is. I mean, yesterday, Joe Biden's ex-press secretary, who is a lifelong Democrat, is voting for Mike Rogers. And it's almost like the ice bucket challenge in Michigan. Lifelong prominent Democrats are openly saying they're going to vote Republican over Abdul. Never seen anything like this. It's one thing to do it in the privacy of the voting booth. It's another thing to go public on social media or on television, as some have done, and say it. If you're new to my program, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe. And everyone, if you could do me the favor of liking the video, that helps so much. You know, guys, when you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. All right, and that really helps out a lot, right? Because it helps grow the channel. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, there's more to share. All right, don't go anywhere.
What if you could understand the Bible as one complete story? From creation to Jesus to the fulfillment of end times prophecy. Now you can with engaging, eye-opening Bible study live streams where Scripture comes together in a clear, easy-to-follow way that will deepen your understanding of God's Word. Discover how the events unfolding in today's world fit into the bigger picture God revealed throughout the Bible. Explore biblical prophecy and what it says about the future. Compare God's truth with Satan's deception. Examine the evidence for creation versus evolution and gain fresh insight into the people, places, and promises found throughout Scripture. Whether you're new to Bible study or have been reading the Bible your entire life, these live streams will help you connect the dots, strengthen your faith, and better understand the times we're living in. Don't miss this opportunity to grow in your knowledge of God's Word. Join these life-changing Bible study live streams right now. Find the link in the description of this episode. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. Again, the link is in the description of this episode. Look in the description and click it right now.
Hey guys, yeah, check out that link. It is in the description to that Bible study. Click that link and check it out. Now, those of you out there that are Medicare recipients, listen up. I want to talk about Chapter. You know, Chapter covers the entire country. So this applies to you no matter what state you are in. They will, when you call the number that's on the screen that I'm also going to give out to you in just a moment, when you call Chapter, you'll speak to a licensed Medicare advisor, and they'll review at no charge your Medicare policy. And you want to do this because they're going to review it. You know, there's over 25,000 Medicare policies, and because they're a national company, they have access to all of them. So they're going to review your policy compared to all of the Medicare policies that exist and make sure that you have the right policy for you. And if you're paying for a supplement, make sure you have the right supplement and you're not paying too much. If the policy you have is the right one for you, they'll let you know that too. And thank you for calling them. Okay, here's their number, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. And remember, it is completely free. Give Chapter a call. Get your free Medicare help with a licensed Medicare advisor with Chapter. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. All right, we are back. So Mamdani wants to feed you. He wants to take care of your housing. And he also wants to take care of your children. Listen to this. He's proposing free childcare, free babysitting, so New Yorkers can go out and abandon their children and go out and go on dates. Listen.
Zohar Mamdani is starting a new pilot program here in New York City. He is saying, bring your children to the park and we will watch them for free. In the 5 boroughs, they said around 500 children can come to these different locations and the parents can go and have a date night. He's even saying, we will feed your children while they're at the park.
Okay, now I wonder if they'll feed him like American food or that porridge stuff he was eating with his fingers during the campaign. Now, I'll play the rest of this in a moment, but I'm here to tell you that, my daughter is 27 years old. When she was growing up, she never had a babysitter, not once. She stayed with her grandparents from time to time, but that's it. Not a single babysitter. Not a single babysitter. And that's a good thing, by the way. Can you imagine? So this is what Mamdani's talking about, right? We're going to provide your housing. We're going to provide you food with our commie grocery stores. Oh, yeah, drop your kids off in the park, and we'll take care of your kids. Really? Yeah, and you can go out on a date while we take care of your kids. Pretty scary, huh? Just drop your kids off at the park. We can have 500 kids, but there's a little more details about it. Listen.
Zora Madani.
And you know, I'll just say this. You know, in communist societies, one of the things they do is take the parents out of the parenting process. You know, like in Cuba, as an example, when Fidel Castro was alive, Castro was everyone's father, not the parents. The real dad was Fidel Castro. They don't want parents involved because the communists want the state, they want the government to parent your children.
Zora Madani is starting a new pilot program here in New York City. He is saying, bring your children to the park and we will watch them for free. In the 5 boroughs, they said around 500 children can come to these different locations and the parents can go and have a date night. He's even saying, we will feed your children while they're at the park. Here in New York City, hiring a babysitter can cost anywhere from $30 to $50 an hour.
Really? $50 an hour for a babysitter? Wow. All you people talking about there not being enough jobs out there, become a babysitter in New York.
So he wants parents to have the opportunity to go and spend 4 hours without their children, and the government officials at the park are going to watch their children. We're not sure exactly who the babysitters will be, but
we're not sure who the babysitters will be. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Democrat, socialist, no doubt.
Going to watch their children. We're not sure exactly who the babysitters will be, but they're going to be funded by Madani. Many people are saying there is no way on earth they would bring their children to a random park in the city and let random people watch them. Even people are saying, well, this is a great way to indoctrinate children. Others are saying Zora Madani is trying to do something nice for the parents here in New York City. Would you ever drop your children off at a park and have random people watch them?
No.
Especially in New York City?
No. No. That would never happen. Oh, my goodness. He wants the government to do everything. That's just... Yeah, I know. Well, there you have it. I mean, that's your democratic socialism, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. My goodness, there is no freaking way. Now, this here, I played this morning, but this is a very important thing to play. This is Ahmed with Abdul, with Talib and Ilhan Omar, and they're talking about Muslims getting elected.
What does this moment mean for you all?
We all are the trailblazers, so let us know how it's done.
When Ilhan and I first got elected, you know, there were some folks saying, you know, we want more Muslims to get elected, so maybe...
Now, who are these people that are saying they want more Muslims to be elected? Is there anybody here watching me that wants more Muslims to get elected?
What does this moment mean for you all?
We all are the trailblazers, so let us know how it's done.
When Ilhan and I first got elected, you know, there were some folks saying, you know, we want more Muslims to get elected, so maybe, you know, tone it down. I know, I was trying to be nice. And she made a note, like, since we've gotten elected, since 2019, 200 Muslims have been elected across the country.
Wow. Okay. Now, 200, I don't want to minimize it, but that, you know, and it seems like a big number, and 200 is 200, you know, but there are between 450 and 500,000 elected officials in the United States. So we have almost 500,000 elected officials. Of them, 200 are Muslim. Okay, so the takeover, it's the beginning of something, no doubt about it. I'm not minimizing it, but they haven't taken over as much as it would seem based on all the attention they're getting. But still, you know, it's 200's a lot.
And she made a note, like, since we've gotten elected, since 2019, 200 Muslims have been elected across the country. Wow. So we think about that for one moment. Is this the incredible movement? I know we were just part of it. We weren't the reason, but I think it's given a lot of people strength to be unapologetically themselves and really lean in who they are and not shy away from that. Growing up, I didn't know when somebody was Arab American until they came to our community and said they were. And now, you know, it's kind of cool that our kids get to see people of their faith. And like Ilhan always says, they can see themselves in government now.
So I got to grow up watching Rashida be an elected official. Yeah. All right. So Rashida's like my older sister. Every time I make a mistake, I just get the text message. It's like,
okay. Yeah. Somebody in the chat said, Brian told us that when he sees a new neighbor looking for housing, he goes outside with his MAGA hat on. That is correct. When there were 2 houses next door to me that were for sale, and there was, well, actually 3. There were 3 houses recently for sale in the last couple of years that were for sale. And any time I saw a real estate come to show the house, I would go outside in my MAGA hat and pretend to be busy in the front yard doing something so that they would see the MAGA hat. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I want to live in a neighborhood with MAGA people in it, right? Don't you want to, and when you live in a neighborhood, do you want to live next to a liberal? I don't want to live next to a liberal. Could you imagine? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. No. So, no, there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a very smart thing to do, actually, right? Yeah. More people should take that advice and do that. It worked out pretty well for me, and I don't have any problems with people. Really, I haven't had any negative, and I still wear my MAGA hat outside and everything. I haven't had any of my neighbors say anything negative, and sometimes I'll get a like the hat, people walking down the street or something. But no, I haven't gotten any negative comments from any of the neighbors about the MAGA hat. When you're in a neighborhood, you want to live in a neighborhood with like-minded people, right? Yeah, your home is your sanctuary. You want to live in peace. And it's hard to live in peace if you're living next door to liberal lunatics. Which one? Sometimes I would wear the Trump 2028 hat because it says Trump really big, or the Make America Great Again hat would be, the most common one because they know that. And if someone's MAGA and they saw me with the Make America Great Again hat, I might have helped actually the real estate agent close the deal, because if you're a MAGA, think about it. You're a MAGA person, you're looking at a house, and across the street, someone's wearing a MAGA hat, you'd be like, wow, I'm home. This is where I want to live. Sign me right now. I'll make an offer right now. We'll move in. So I would think maybe I helped the real estate agent close the deal. Absolutely. Now, again, if you're new to the program, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe. And if all of you could please like the video, that helps so much. You have no idea, because when you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel, and that really helps a lot grow the channel and helps new people find me that haven't found me yet. So please take a moment to like the video if you've not already done it, and those of you who already have, thanks so much for doing it. Yeah, so here's AOC with her fiance. Did they ever get married? He's a guy, she's a girl. The freezing of the eggs thing, they could take, the freezing of the eggs. I've heard of people doing this, and it does not take every time. And then all those tens of thousands is wasted. You got to go through the whole process again. Now, Iran is getting a little nutty here. This is Fox News. Let me pull this up. Iran, they're just crazy, right?
Of Hormuz, there are questions about what comes next, and the Iranians are starting to make new demands.
Can you imagine? The Iranians are making demands on us, right? That tells you how crazy they are. They're unfit to lead, right? If they we need to do a 25th Amendment to the Iranians. If they're making demands on us, they're not mentally stable.
Of Hormuz, there are questions about what comes next, and the Iranians are starting to make new demands. Iran's Supreme National Security Council issued a fresh statement this weekend calling for the United States to permanently end the war and compensate Iran for damages before the Strait would reopen. This does come as Iran's foreign minister says even if a deal is reached, it doesn't necessarily mean the Strait will stay open.
Unreal.
We have been discussing the temporary route, and we are very close to reaching a conclusion. Work is being carried out based on the maps of this route. Prepared by the armed forces, negotiations have taken place between the navies of the two countries.
What navy? We destroyed their navy. They have no navy.
And the details are being finalized. I believe we will be able to conclude these negotiations very soon.
Conversations about the Strait come as the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports remains in effect.
Yeah, okay, it goes on and on. They're totally insane. Guys, thanks for watching. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I will see you first thing bright and early tomorrow morning. All right? Take care. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the morning.